Hey, what's up everyone? Damien here with Games of Our Lives. Got some new stories and a small update to the app to show you. So let's look here. We have our first story here from a new user from Lukewarm Ice about Final Fantasy X called Not My First But My Favorite. Final Fantasy X wasn't the first RPG I played or beat, but it was what really started me down the path of RPG titles and the genre as a whole. I still listen to the music, can conjure images of the locations in my mind, and talk about Blitzball and the Sphere Grid for hours, not to mention the characters and the story they tell. Final Fantasy X will always hold a place in my heart and has yet to be topped, even after hundreds of other RPGs have fallen in thousands of hours of play. I already gave this guy some clout, which is why you see thanks filled in here. And it did remind me of when I played Final Fantasy X. So I'm going to go and create a game story of my own about it. And here we can see an update that I put out to the app. It just shows a summary of the game here. Depending on the title, just be a description of the game, or it'll be a short sort of preview of the story. I think it's nice to have here. So let's come in here and create a new game story for Final Fantasy X. Okay, just wrapped up my own Final Fantasy X story here. So let's have a look at it here. This is called Epic File Delete by yours truly, Damien. I wasn't always great at playing RPGs. I came out of playing Pokemon all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, only to get slammed around by some more sophisticated RPGs. One of the first ones was Final Fantasy X. I plotted my way through this game thinking it would be as easy as matching types to their advantages as it was with Pokemon. However, there is much more to upgrading and battling in Final Fantasy X than there is in Pokemon. Anyways, I slogged through this game for a few weeks when I was about 15 or 16 years old. I played it a few years after its release, about 2004 or 5. I remember I got to the shoe puff part of the game, which as I recall is close to the calm, a sort of almost there checkpoint before the final level for players to play around in and level up their fighters and gear. Do you want to ride the shoe puff? I'll never forget that weird little man's voice because I saved my game to go and do homework or eat dinner, and when I came back, I deleted my file by accident. I restarted the game right away, and I was breezing through it on my second round. I think it was a whole 10 hours or so faster to get back to the shoe puff ride, but man, quite a setback. So if you like this story, and if you have some stories of your own about your favorite video games, head to gamesofourlives.net and sign in, create a profile. You can go to Browse by Game. You can go to Browse by Game and create a Final Fantasy X story here, and you can look up any other Final Fantasy game that you have memories of. So um, I look forward to hearing your stories. I'll read them on the channel, and thanks a lot.